Cheers. How are you guys today? Ah, I'm not kidding you. I was going to start by saying I should just do like an I Love Lucy show. So, I have all these cool lights, all these cool gadgets, my props. And, I try to just set them up so that it's so entertaining to look at because, I might not have anything to say of any interest, right? And then my freaking girls are just like all over the place. Ah, Anyway, that's my biggest issue. My biggest issue is this. I'm just going to get them removed. Okay. So now that we got all interpersonal, good morning. How are you guys? Thank you so much for waiting. As always, I'm very apologetic for being late, but like I said, I got all the cool stuff going on. I think I have a really good show for you today, but because I've said that, I probably lost my notes, right? So, which is fine. Spontaneity is always good. Looks like Big Oil has extreme interest in East Palestine as well as areas surrounding, including Pennsylvania, for big oil extraction. Yeah, what a whole lot of crazy, huh? Happy accidents. That's cute, Mark. Thanks. Go ahead and highlight that one and get started. So, I told you a couple days ago, I have this email that I want to read to you, and it's long, and I was trying to decide should I do it in a live or should I do it in a pre recorded? And I'm going to do it in a live because I want to get your live responses. And let me just get into that really quickly after I adjust my shirt a little bit more. Maybe I should just start all over, right? My goodness. Please let everything stay put. I don't like being late for you guys, but I do like to make it cool. And then I got this, and then I got that, and then I spill my coffee. Like I said, it's an I Love Lucy show. All right, so let's just get into it. So you guys saw the thumbnail with Kylie Rodney, and this is about Kylie Rodney. So switching gears momentarily, as you know, like so many of us, I always have Kylie Rodney in my heart. I'm always wanting to discuss her case. I'm so grateful for the people that are discussing it actively, routinely. I don't know what I'd do without them. So Squirrels on Fire, Kevin Neese, CNY, and so many others. I'm sorry if I'm not mentioning some of the other great channels that are consistently hammering away, like Kaz Thinks and The Imprint and Dr. Latina and, probably half a dozen others. So thank goodness there's people that are dedicated. So this is from one of my subs who I asked her if it was okay to share it, even though it says right in the content, go ahead and do whatever you want. I wanted to be absolutely clear. So I'm just going to start. All right. It's long. So let me get a drink of coffee. You guys can chat amongst yourselves, but know that I'll miss whatever you're saying until I'm done. And it probably will take me 10 minutes. As long as there's no earthquakes or anything. Okay. Good morning. I watched Kevin's recent video about a possible sacrifice. In CNY's latest theory, she bravely expressed, finally, someone has the balls, and I am going to change some of these words, so I'll do this when I'm changing the word, so you know. Finally, someone has the balls to speak publicly about this very important problem in our world today. I felt this was the case from day one, only because of my knowledge. I have been researching this for over 15 years. Remember all the crazy emails I sent you and others about my theory? MK Ultra mind control, let's just say Titanic ritual abuse. There we go. And we'll say Titaniism and sacrifice. I recently I received very few responses, was blocked, mocked, ignored, and had my contents removed from chats by the creator. But I wouldn't stop because I felt it was an opportunity to plant seeds in people's minds to hopefully inspire them to at least look into Titanicism, quote unquote, right? And the unbelievable, horrific acts perpetrated on the most helpless and vulnerable by priests, popes, pastors, politicians, police, CPS, judges, teachers, etc. See the Franklin scandal. Their secrets must be exposed. Experts say they average more than 80 million people across the world who practice this ancient religion. Most of Washington, D.C. is involved. And when this happened to Kylie, all the evidence I saw was Titanicism. The odd behavior of all involved, no tears, regret, or remorse, but a look of glee. Polytheistic traditions, beliefs, practices, and demonic forces. Blank, soulless eyes. Flat affects of Lindsay and the kids. The black sun, Lindsay, and the girls made with their middle fingers at the memorial. See tattoos of prisoners with the black sun, etc. Big owl tattoo on Lindsay's best friend's arm. Purple flag at memorial. Law enforcement lady wearing the inappropriate purple cocktail dress. Purple is a shout out to the collab and elites. Lindsay's Handmaid's Tale. Paganism and Wicca are signs of white supremacy. Odinism and Asatruism follow the belief that do what must be done, legal or not. They believe that anyone not taking their religion seriously must be punished to protect the honor of the gods. Fatal force is warranted. Truckee's Asatru group with the hidden panda face and its secret meaning, Gateway Mountain Center in Auburn for kids only, run by the Holbrooks. Their motto is Truckee Future Without Drug Dependence. Ain't that a hoot? See Nate H. interview at the center where he has a weird flat affect. Mind control? Where there is Podesta, there will be a pedo ring. Titanism, and SRA. Titanic ritual abuse. Cemex locations and the I-80 corridor. Photoshopped images, honor and silence, kids refusing to talk, prevalence of elites in Tahoe and Incline Village, tunnels, DUMB's water rights. See David Robertson's Kylie's grandpa old articles. And magnetic ley line going straight through Tahoe, Truckee, and the Lodge. Robertson was influential in stopping a massive resort subdivision in the Martis Valley, Wattle Ranch in 2005, the year Kylie was born. Major land use battle from my own research and notes. Possible vendetta, gaslighting to cause concerned public confusion. Red rums called accidents with no foul play. Westfall Winery on the Mexican border. SA going unpunished. Fake autopsy. Pregnancy inconclusive. Dental records unknown. DNA neglected. WTF. Podesta probably owning Eastside Deli on Hirschdale Road. I have not verified. Another Pizzagate. Emancipation request by Kylie. Why? Titanics practice cannibalism. Donner Party worship. I heard Podesta bragged about his home near Lost Trail Lodge, which has a beautiful view of Prosser, not verified. I could go on and on. This is in reference to Kevin Neese's recent theory that Kylie may have been preggers. Lately, I have been thinking of another possible theory and a reference to Handmaid's Tale. The theme of the novel is suppression of women's reproductive rights and where women resist and try to gain individuality and independence. Wasn't Kylie striving hard for her own individuality and independence? If she was preggers by Nate, wouldn't they want the baby for sacrifice? With Titanic's, it's an honor to sacrifice their firstborn. These demons wouldn't waste a newborn if it could be used for some other heinous deed that they find so enjoyable. They need the rituals and the adrenochrome, Rosemary's Baby, This may have something to do with ancestral bloodlines lineage from the Robertsons, Rodneys, and or Holbrooks. Was Kylie kidnapped for the possible baby and being used as a um, sex slave for rituals? I recently became aware of a news report about a secret private landing strip in the area that was recently discovered. Purple dress lady was there. Wouldn't that be convenient? If you don't believe this about baby making sex slaves, check out Oprah's idol, John of Gods. He will spend the rest of his life in a Brazilian prison. Yes, Oprah is one of them. See sex scandal at Oprah's School for Girls in South Africa. There is more scandalous truth about Oprah's true nature, but that's another story. These elites communicate secretly through numerology and gematria, and planned events must coordinate to special numbers and symbology. I always wonder why Kylie had a 17 tattoo. She died just before her 17th birthday, and freedom at last. Anyway, I get a lot of my research info from DuckDuckGo. Google is a censored joke. If it's debunked by Snopes, then it isn't true. If only you knew about Snopes. I felt compelled to finally put all of this information together from my notes. Tried to keep it short, but this Kylie situation is absolutely insane. I refrained from putting my thoughts in writing until now. You know, public scrutiny and fear of looking like a total whack job. I need to get this monkey off my back. Anyway, do what you want with this. Use my name for blame. Just like you, I want the truth. I want people to effing wake the H up, take their heads out of the sand and their rear ends, take the blinders off. If anything I've said is wrong, incorrect, off the mark, let me know. I have pretty thick skin. Anyway, this isn't about me. It's about justice for Kylie, freeing the children, and locking up the perps. So, signed, yours truly. So, that's the letter. I do want to add here that everything I say in any of my videos is simply my opinion and for the sake of conversation, hoping to open up a discussion, hoping to be educational, and it's made specifically for YouTube, which is an entertainment platform. So, you guys, any thoughts, feelings? I just got to say right away, my mind went to the number 4 when the letter, the email was talking about numerology. The number 4 in Moscow, Idaho, 4 a.m., 4 p.m. What's up with that? Why are they so fixated on 4 a.m.? The DoorDash delivery was at about 4. Everybody was in their rooms or asleep at about 4. They say that the crimes happened starting at about 4. And then the lead detective and the sergeant arrived in response to the 911 call at about 4. This case is bizarre, you guys. So yesterday there was the unsealed warrant from Pennsylvania from the arrest, and I'm sure you guys have all heard all about that. Basically, it sounds like when they took the criminal defendant into custody, everything that they listed was what he had on his person. And this is speculation, but I'm going to speculate that he had the 2 pairs of gloves on his person, like maybe in his pocket, and that he even had that little flashlight on his person, maybe in his pocket. I'm going to speculate that he had on his shoes and socks and his shorts and his hoodie, and that maybe he was going for a run. We know this guy has insomnia. We know that he has a history of doing night runs. This was the day before New Year's. So he was pretty obsessed about his weight and his diet. So I would assume that would extend to exercise. Maybe he was even an exercise anorexic. Anyway, my point is that the whole list of what we've seen with the Under Armour and the flashlight and the 2 pair of medical gloves, that all of that was basically what was on his person, right? So I'm going to guess he wasn't asleep. I'm going to guess he had his sneakers on, unless, well, Yeah, I mean, he might have fallen asleep, say, on the couch with his sneakers on, but it was only 1:30 in the morning. Initially, I was under the impression that it was like 3 in the morning when they apprehended him. What did they call it? A dynamic entry. So, today it seems that there's going to be a couple more unsealed uh, affidavit warrant types of things from Pennsylvania. So we'll see. There's just a lot of information, and I got to share with you guys more and more. I am of the opinion that something wonky is going on here. Something super wonky is going on here. So, hey, Larissa, and everyone else that's here, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to rewatch Lord of the Flies again today. I woke up with a mini migraine, so I'm trying to eat something, and hopefully, I don't have to take my last Nurtec. It's so expensive, even with insurance. Oh, I've never seen or read Lord of the Flies. I don't know if I could handle it in the midst of all this. Larissa, thank you so much for continuing your coverage of Ms. Kylie Rodney. I love that you're doing that. I mean, it's just phenomenal. And I'm so glad that you've connected with a group of people that are doing that. And CCTV, I know Squirrel Girl, she took her entire channel down. Mountain Girl 212, she had taken her channel down, I think, for a while, and then I think she's back at it now. Um, I just think it's really important that no one give up on this girl, right? Good morning, not so dumb blonde, and now be nice to your elders. Good morning. I really hope they unseal the search warrant on the Elantra. Right, that's one of them that I think they're going to be unsealing today, Crime Story Diva. That's what my sources say. Larissa Slaughter, good morning, y'all. I'm trying not to get the aura get me, but I'm for Truth for Kylie and all the young people. Um, yeah, it's just horrifying. So, you guys, I want to reiterate about the email that this person sent me. I don't necessarily agree or disagree with any of what she said. I'll clarify that. I probably agree with most of it. But what I wanted to do was just share it, especially because she said that part about basically being censored, having her comments deleted and being blocked. And I just thought that's so messed up. I know from my life experience that I like to say Titanic. I just came up with that like spur of the moment when I was doing the video. I knew I was going to change it, but I didn't know what to. The Titanic ritual abuse is a very real thing. I think I've mentioned to you guys in one video, maybe two. So most of you, I'm sure, missed it. That when I moved to Olympia, Washington in 1987, there was an active lawsuit from the daughter of the Olympia Police Department chief. She was 26 years old at the time. She was suing the police department because her father, who worked there, and the whole department was caught up in this Titanic stuff. When she was 6 years old, he lost her in a poker game related to this Titanic stuff. So she was abused horrifically. I can't even imagine. She ended up in her 20s at the Western State Psychiatric Facility, which isn't far from Olympia. It's around Tacoma area. And then she filed a massive lawsuit against the Olympia Police Department, and she won. That girl won. She was 26 years old. So here she was at Western State Hospital. It's amazing that anybody believed her. It's amazing that she was able to unscramble her brain and tell her story. It's amazing that she was alive, that she didn't unalive herself or get unalived accidentally, overreact and have a heart attack. None of that. Anyway, that was in Olympia, Washington in 1987. You can actually Google it. There is some things on Google about it. So I'd recommend that if you're curious. But I happened to play volleyball with one of the assistant attorney generals that was working on the case, that was working for her, basically. So I was aware of these types of evil forces before I moved to Olympia and happened to find out all of that from the inside track. It happens everywhere. It happens everywhere. So I'm happy to share this viewer's email and all of her frustration and talking specifically about the great work that Kevin Neese and CNY and all these others are doing, and really trying to look at what none of us want to see. None of us want to see it. None of us want it to be real. It would be so nice if it was just, imaginary, right? It works, just expensive. Let's see. I know it is hard. I'm going to read that comment out loud. It is hard to participate in the chat. Like you get all nervous and excited and you want to pay attention, and then you're typing and then you are screwing up, spell check or hitting send too soon or whatever. So Harsh Shelley says to Susie, it works, just expensive, but thank you. I'm going to listen and not comment, but it's hard to not say how I feel. Okay, Larissa says you got the same email I did. Awesome. Yes, I'm so glad that you said that. So yeah, she sent it to a few people and I responded immediately and asked her specifically if I could share it this week in one of my videos. And she said, yes, please go ahead. I'm glad she shared it with you because you are a key player, girlfriend. You are absolutely a key player. Cece had a great live last night. Oh, I missed it. I'll have to go check that out. So, it's interesting to me, the kind of the synchronicity of these cases, how like the Murdoch trial, the Rodney case, and the Idaho 4, like right now in the Murdoch trial, the jurors are getting ready to go do a field trip to the dog kennel. And I haven't paid that much attention to that case. Let me just say that, but I do know the overall sketch of it. So the fact that they're going to go on site to the location where these crimes happened speaks directly to the university preserving the 1122 King Road residence until after a trial is complete. In my opinion, if anything, if that property is destroyed, they are telling on themselves. You guys, I am so suspicious more now of the university. It used to be that I was more suspicious of the Greek system and of the law enforcement. But now the fact that this landlord gave that house to the university makes no sense to me at all. The fact that the university is ready to destroy it immediately, if not sooner, makes me suspicious. That's a red flag. Like, of course, you don't want the memory of the structure, but of course, you want justice and you don't want to destroy evidence. And anybody who destroys evidence should be charged with destruction of evidence and obstruction of justice, right? Did I say obstruction of evidence? You knew what I meant. Destruction of evidence. I don't know what I said. Anyway, Marie's Adult Coloring. Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. I like the name of your channel. Hope I didn't miss the email information. Oh, yeah, I just finished reading it and it's long. So I'll let you go back and check that out. Where are we at? We're just at 23 minutes. I agree you need to hear what it sounds like with people walking up and down the stairs or talking and see the close proximity to what happened. They cannot tear that house down. Right. And I was bringing up yesterday, Squirrely Burger, that I had just found out the day before yesterday about that step. I don't know if you guys knew about the step from the living room into the kitchen in the 1122 King Road residence. So a step when you're coming from the kitchen to the living room, a step going up. So a step like that going down or a step going up where you're not really expecting it, even if you had a flashlight, if you were in there, in a frenzy committing these crimes, I think that step would really throw you a curveball if you weren't expecting it. So to me, learning about that step was kind of an aha moment of something is definitely going on. And then, just thinking of that whole design of the hallway down to Xana's room and how that is was a kill cage for whoever the assailant was with those victims. If that assailant was at the end of the hallway, it doesn't matter where Xana and Ethan were, if they were anywhere in the hallway or in the bedroom, there was no way they could get out. They were trapped. They were like rats in a cage. It's just disgusting. Oh, hit the like button, Harsh Shelley. Thank you for saying that. Um, yeah, please like, share, subscribe if you'd be so kind. Um, and CSI needs to come back to remind people. I thought it said rewind. How this is supposed to work. Oh, that's funny. That's Yeah, you guys, somebody brought up yesterday, and I said that we'd discuss it this morning. We've brought it up before, but what is the answer to the question of when the remains were removed from the residence of 1122 King Road? Um, do you guys remember when they were removed? Because I don't. I don't remember seeing it going on. I don't remember hearing about it going on. But I think that that's important. And it seems to me that they were very secretive about it, which would make sense. I mean, for good reason to be secretive about something like that. Um, the house gushed the red stuff. Maybe the new edition was a rush job and not up to code, too many gaps. That's true. I mean, I think that the gushing is what made some people think that it was not real, that was just kind of the over dramatization and completely inconsistent with the lack of mentioning of the red stuff in the affidavit, except for the one latent shoe print. So yeah, the shoes, you guys, the shoes are a big deal. The Nikes that were apprehended with the criminal defendant being a size 13. I guess only 10% of shoes in our country or in the world, I'm not sure which, but only 10% of men's shoes are size 13 that are sold. I think that's the right number, somewhere around there. So not very many. And there's never been any indication of what size the van's latent shoe print might be. Like, even if it's not a full shoe print, you'd be able to determine with some mathematical formula what size that van is. Um, so, I'm glad that you've been here, Marie's Adult Coloring. Like I said, I know it is challenging sometimes to comment. When I'm watching a live on my phone, I can't even let people know that I'm present. But when I'm on my laptop, I have trouble keeping my mouth shut. I will try to, kind of tone it down and just say hi to people. But yeah, you get going and you want to share your ideas. Justice Warriors, we can do better by leaving our DNA on that like button, please. Oh, thank you, Miss Amir Zaza. That's very nice of you. So I want to keep this one short, you guys. We're just getting to almost half an hour. And, I've had this goal of getting them shorter and shorter, not to make them non-existent, but just to make them easier to consume, basically. So, lives tend to be long, especially when you try to read the chat as much as I like to. But I definitely love to read your guys' comments here. Caleb Lee says, I'm over the Idaho case. We all know it's another cover up and maybe way worse than Kylie Rodney's cover up. Yeah, interesting comment there, Caleb Lee. I mean, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I don't remember ever seeing or hearing about that process either. Squirrely Burger, that's where I'm at, and honestly, I've shared this with you guys a few times. In the first few days of this case, I really tried to ignore it because I just thought it was over the top, ridiculous, attention seeking. To me, it seemed like a case that was trying to distract the public from what was going on in Truckee, honestly. I know that sounds a little, you know, a little too suspicious, but that was where I was coming from. I think a lot of people in the Kylie Rodney camp were coming from there, that it was just like a desperate act, maybe real violence and maybe not, but something to try to distract the public. So, as it unfolded and it appeared that there was so much that wasn't right with the case, I got more sucked in reluctantly. And, honestly, um, I believe that this situation in Idaho is, if the criminal defendant is involved, which it seems that he very well could be, it seems to me that there's other parties involved. So, and entities involved. And I don't know if I need to be specific. I think you guys all know I was saying it earlier, and I don't want to be accusatory. But I'm very suspicious of the law enforcement and how they've handled this case and mishandled this case. I'm very suspicious of the roommates and the 8-hour delay. I mean, who isn't? At this point, if you're not suspicious of that, I don't know. You might need to rethink your whole concept of the case, because that's crazy. That's completely insane. The 8 hours, the frozen shock phase. I bought that up front. I can admit that freely and openly. I completely bought into the gaslighting. It's hard not to. You want to believe law enforcement is going to be straight with you. And how else are you going to rationalize an 8-hour delay that law enforcement's not acting suspicious of? It's not right. Law enforcement should be very suspicious of that 8-hour delay. They should be prosecuting people for that 8-hour delay, because that destroys evidence. Just the wait right there. That's obstruction of justice. These are serious charges, but we know that law enforcement has said numerous times that the survivors summoned their friends, summoned other parties. Like, that's crazy talk. You don't summon people except first responders. It's absolutely insane. And when is that 911 call going to get released? Is it ever going to get released? It should be. It really should be. I'm here for Kylie, but I would get an injunction if I were Brian's attorney. And about the step, I agree. We would, something at the Shark Club in Vegas had a step down to the dance for epic laughs. Yeah, those kinds of things really mess you up. Really, really mess you up. Check out the Nike Pico 5GS and the Nike Air Max Bella TR2. Both have similar treads as Vans. Oh, very interesting, Jamie. I will check that out for sure. That is very wild. But come on, if this guy is studying, he already has his master's degree in criminology and he's studying to get a doctorate, don't you think he would have burned the shoes that he was wearing? Don't you think he would have done things differently than what they're claiming? In my humble opinion, I don't know how they snuck those bodies out with reporters being there 24/7. That's a good question. I know, Crime Story Diva. It's creepy. Isn't it so creepy? I mean, when they put up the shields the way they did at the vehicle, when they pulled the CRV out of Prosser Lake in Tahoe in the Kylie Rodney case, when they put up those visual shields, they did that by the moving truck outside of the 1122 King Road residence. But that was way later. So they would have had to have them gone within, I would think, like a day. I would think that no more than that. But again, you already had 12 hours of decomposition trigger warning. You already had 12 hours of that before the lead investigator got there. So then I would think at least another 12 hours processing the scene. 24 hours, you would need to have that gone because I don't know if any of you haven't smelled that smell. It's insane. It is crazy. That smell is the worst. And once it's in an area, it like never leaves the area. It's like skunk. It's really bad. Um, so let's wrap her up, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you all have a great day. Absolutely. Something keeps telling me these two survivors, aka roommates, are possibly hiding or keeping a big secret. Oh, you guys, I'm going to put in the description a link to a Southern Logic that I think he just dropped yesterday. And maybe it was the day before yesterday, but it was a similar thing where he was actually reading an email from a viewer, and this viewer has this whole theory of what could have happened in the Idaho 4 case. And I think it's pretty good, like a pretty good, solid theory. And I really appreciated Southern Logic's reading of it and sharing it. And I'm going to put that link in. And then, yeah, it talks about the roommates for sure. It doesn't help that Bethany's from the Tahoe area, Reno. That alone makes me suspicious. I know, that is crazy, isn't it? Reno High School. I want to say her dad is a dentist, and maybe Dylan's father is a doctor. I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, there wasn't a lot of news crews there within the first 24 hours. I don't think we found out it was a stabbing until 48 hours later. It took a while. Yeah, it definitely took a while. I thought everybody knew that she was from the Tahoe area. Right. I mean, I don't think the public knew for a while, Squirrely Burger, until we found that out. Any doubts I had, you may have sealed it. Any doubts about the Tahoe case, or I'm not? Oh, Southern Logic. Yes, I'm going to highlight that one. And I will put that link in the description because that's a really good video. You know, he's so opinionated. He cracks me up. You know, that's kind of his thing, is to be like super opinionated. So when I agree with his opinion, it's easy to watch because it's entertaining. It's funny. He's quite entertaining. But when I don't agree with his opinion, it's very difficult to watch because he's so hardcore opinionated. And I'm saying that as a compliment. You know, it's great that somebody can be super opinionated and just put it out there. You know, we're all allowed to have our own opinions, and we're all allowed to disagree with each other, and we will disagree with each other, and that's okay. There's absolutely, you know, that's what keeps the discussion lively. The Funks and their noise complaining neighbors, Moyes, both have ties to Kylie's area. What? Rachel? Yeah, I've heard that name, the Moyes, but I don't really know much about it. Thanks for the link, Justice. Yeah, I'll get that in there. I'll do that as soon as we hang up here. And her brother, Cody, also works in that area, if I'm not mistaken, with the police. Not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure. I'm so glad you said that, Squirrely Burger. So I don't know that that's even a relative of hers. There is a Cody Funk that's spelled the same way with an E at the end that is the coroner. And he's also like a city maintenance crew person in a community not too far from Moscow. So I don't know that he's related to Bethany Funk. He could be a direct relative, could be a distant relative, could have no relation at all. I don't know, but it's a good question. It's a very good question. Bethany's dad, a dentist in Reno, and Cody is a coroner for Idaho County, Idaho. Thanks, Rachel. Idaho County. And yeah, he looks so young to be a coroner. He also looks really old to be her brother. So I would think that more likely it's like a a young uncle or something. I mean, he looks, it's hard to say, but maybe 30-ish, maybe early 30s. That OF model in California and stabbed boyfriend. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. I watch Southern Logic, but at times have a hard time watching all his stuff. I've learned through watching true crime communities videos, the genuine ones, to swallow my pride and listen to another point of view. I absolutely listen to people who I disagree with. Yeah, I think it's a good exercise. I think it's just healthy, or it's also just good to think about other perspectives. So yeah, I listen to a lot of channels that I completely disagree with. People who are working hard on YouTube cases, I find very fascinating and interesting. So I like all kinds of content creators, not just the ones that I agree with. I thought she looked like someone I had seen before, and I was like, maybe Insta. I don't know. Okay, I'm not sure if you're talking about Bethany. Um, Not a big believer in coincidence, just saying sassafras. I love your name too, sassafras. That's great. And yeah, absolutely. There's no such thing as coincidence. I'd like to call it synchronicity when things line up in sync. Crime Circus has a video on that case, Jazz. Which case? Which case? Which case? Yeah, I keep up with all the Crime Circus. I don't know if he's done a new one in the last week. Yes, true. A wise man once said logic can be met with logic, illogic can't. Courtney Clancy video, that Crime Circus. Okay, yeah, I'm totally not familiar with the Courtney Clancy case, but maybe I'll check that out. So I'm going to sign off, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great day. I will be doing a Cliff Notes of this live later today, and I'll be doing my 9:30 live tomorrow and Friday. Make sure you get some fresh air and sunshine and exercise. Stay hydrated, eat well, a lot of produce, a lot of veggies. It's like my grandma recommendation there, right? Eat your veggies, eat high protein. That's super important. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, be forgiving of yourself and forgiving to others, and be sure that people around you treat you with kindness and respect. And peace out. Sending you light, sending you love. Eat, pray, love. All right, you guys. Thanks again. I really appreciate you all. Hit that like button if you'd be so kind.